And so it's like, oh, come on, what's the right thing to do? For God's sakes, it's just not the way DC functions. And so we'll see. There's going to be a lot of lobbying. There's another bill on stablecoins coming up. There's another bill on market structure. Hear me loud and clear. Crypto needs both Democrats and Republicans to understand it and to push it forward, right? It can't be a technology of one party. It will stink for the crypto industry because these elections are going to go back and forth for a long time. And crypto at its core, any technology should be mostly bipartisan, right? Crypto has a little for both. It's got the libertarian streak of Bitcoin, but it's also got the progressive streak of cutting out the middleman, of cutting out banks, of cutting out music publishers, of cutting out all kinds of rent takers. And so why Elizabeth Warren decided she hated it is a mystery to me, but we've got to move beyond that chapter.
In this video, Michael Novogratz explores the future of Bitcoin, various aspects of cryptocurrencies, and provides a long-term perspective on digital assets. Let's begin the film without any delay.
And Bitcoin specifically, right? If you take for a second the premise that Bitcoin is digital gold, and the growth of it is a function of adoption. It's a function of people having it explained to them and believing it. And so by definition almost, Bitcoin is sold, not bought, right? You get orange pilled. And so I'm a sales guy at my core, even though I make more money trading. My mom was a salesperson, my brothers, my sisters were a family of salesmen. And so it was very natural for me, once I thought this makes sense, to sell. And, I said this recently on TV. I was like, Jamie Dimon was calling it a pet rock, and Elizabeth Warren. I said, guys, the arrogance that's coming out of your mouth is shocking, right? Ray Dalio, Jeff Yaz, Abby Johnson, Paul Jones, Stan Druckenmiller, some of the best investors of the world, Pete Brigger, Mickey Milker, they all think there's value, but you're smarter than them. Yep, Elizabeth, you are so much smarter than all of the best investors in the world that like it. I was like, you don't have to like it, but don't be so arrogant to say it's not worth anything, because that group of people saw worth in it. I saw worth in it early on because I thought this was an idea that would catch fire. It was an idea that would catch fire because Satoshi saw populism coming. The moment Brexit happened, it was the best thing for crypto. Populist governments spend too much money. That's why they're called populist. And we have a populist wave going around the world. We had a North Star before 15. It was called globalization. We believed in it. Collectively, rightfully or wrongfully, the world believed in globalization. And with Brexit, globalization fell apart. Now we're talking about resourcing and a war with China. None of that was there. And so we've created this political and economic environment for Bitcoin to thrive. And it's why I was talking about gold and silver, for hard assets to thrive. And Bitcoin is a digital hard asset that is beloved by hundreds of millions of people right now. What we're seeing in DC right now, last week, was the Democrats finally waking up a little bit. And I've been down there so much, and I am more of a Democrat than a Republican, but these days I'm pivoting more to becoming a radical centrist. Because of Elizabeth Warren and the power she's had around the financial decisions in DC, in the Biden administration, it was like Democrats don't like crypto. And I said loudly and publicly, I was like, guys, there are 65 million dog owners in America. There are 85 million crypto owners. And right now, the Democratic Party risks being the party that doesn't like dogs. We hate dogs. I was like, you can't just hate crypto. And, on the same day that Biden threatened to veto this arcane accounting rule, Trump came out and said, I'm your crypto president. And it has almost become a purity test now in the crypto community. Republicans like crypto, Democrats don't. And if you don't vote for Trump, you're not a crypto person. And so the Democrats last week, for the first time, we had a bipartisan vote where 10 senators crossed the line, and I forgot what it was, 20 congressmen.
20 congressmen.
And so...
Will President Biden veto this?
President Biden will probably still veto this bill. We'll see. I hope he doesn't. I think it would be really foolish if he does. But, the way politics works is they say, if I don't veto it, I'm going to make those congressmen and senators that we told to vote no look stupid. And those are my base. And so it's like, oh, come on, what's the right thing to do? For God's sakes, it's just not the way DC functions. And so we'll see. We'll see. There's going to be a lot of lobbying. There's another bill on stablecoins coming up. There's another bill on market structure. Hear me loud and clear. Crypto needs both Democrats and Republicans to understand it and to push it forward, right? It can't be a technology of one party. It will stink for the crypto industry because these elections are going to go back and forth for a long time. And crypto at its core, any technology should be mostly bipartisan, right? Crypto has a little for both. It's got the libertarian streak of Bitcoin, but it's also got the progressive streak of cutting out the middleman, of cutting out banks, of cutting out music publishers, of cutting out all kinds of rent takers. And so why Elizabeth Warren decided she hated it is a mystery to me, but we've got to move beyond that chapter.
Bitcoin has failed to retest its March high, prompting suspicion that the bull run is ended. Crypto discovered that false and found Bitcoin preparing for the second leg. Retail investors participate in bull cycles, like in 2017 and 2021. After many small investors entered the market, institutional capital boosted Bitcoin to $73,700 in March. BTC's price has been correcting and consolidating for months, as the billions of cash that pushed it have dwindled. Whale and realized cap metric data suggests change. This capitalization model examines retail and smaller whale funding. According to Crypto, the big fishes have been profiting from the downturn. The rise in the 10 to 100 BTC cohort balance in. Earlier cycles suggests others have joined. Bitcoin has plunged 20% to 30%. This could spark another rise. CryptoDan, a on-chain analyst and CryptoQuint author, agreed, arguing that since 2024 is when small whales and general investors began to rapidly increase and the second half of the bull market has just begun, Bitcoin could rise strongly. BTC may still fall before another surge. Crypto checked Bitcoin's volatility at press time and found 2E volatility reaching 0.0.02. A cryptocurrency's volatility reflects its upward or downward movement. Low readings suggest a narrow range. Rising volatility means Bitcoin prices may swing depending on market purchasing or selling pressure. Bitcoin's price may reach $80,000 in Q3 if buying pressure rises, but selling pressure may prevent this.
There was terror because of a lot of bad behavior in 2021, right? Froth and then bad behavior, plus the Fed raising rates. And so we would have gone down anyways without Sam Bankman-Fried and Do Kwon and all the other, BlockFi and Celsius and all the other problems just because of the Fed raising rates. So we were starting from a distressed position, and then we got the ETF approval, and it can't be understated how important that Larry Fink, the single largest wealth manager in the world in history, who had been negative 5-6 years earlier, got orange-pilled and said, actually, I see what these other people are seeing, and I think this is an asset that should be in lots of portfolios. And so while there are 11 ETFs, it was really Larry that made it easy for all of you guys to put some Bitcoin institutional investors in your portfolio. And that process has started, and that adoption process goes slowly. At the same time, we had the halving, which is another, the inflation rate gets cut in half. So imagine you had an asset and you say, guys, guess what? We just cut the inflation rate in half. And but the inflation in your other asset, if it's dollars or euros or yen, that's pretty high and it's growing, right? So you've got a deflationary asset versus inflationary world. And so we had a nice run, and, prices are always set on the margin. There aren't that many sellers of Bitcoin. So many people who own it, who bought it, they believe in it almost religiously. So Michael Saylor's never selling his Bitcoin, which is very different than most assets, right? These guys think of their net worth and how many coins they own, not how many dollars they have. Now, that's not everybody, but that's a big core. And so you don't see a lot of turnover. And so, listen, we're consolidating here. We'll see what the Fed does. If the Fed starts pushing rates down, you're going to see crypto go higher. It might grind higher anyways, just with the belief that gold, silver, we're starting to lose faith that this stewardship that we have in the U.S. economy and the global economy is going to be good. And that's what the prices of precious are telling you.
Kosecki admitted in a tweet that he gets frustrated when he tries to convince people around him to buy Bitcoin because they give him lame reasons not to. He says that the most common reason people don't follow his advice is that they think BTC is too expensive. The world's most popular cryptocurrency is trading high right now, but Kosey thinks it will go even higher. It is high, but not as high as it's going to go. The important thing is that Key quoted his book here and said that you make money when you buy, not when you sell. One interesting thing about Bitcoin is that everyone wishes they had bought PTC when it was only $10, but those times are long gone. His tweets in response to Robert Kosky's tweet, trader and crypto entrepreneur Y Wu said that the Bitcoin run will end when everyone has invested in it. So far, 4.7% of the market's free capital has been put into Bitcoin by banks. He tweeted right now as W wrote, "Bitcoin is winning. This is exactly what VCS does for new technologies." Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks.